You're watching Sound Tree TV.
Afternoon, everybody. Ken, that opening bumper music was really pretty cool. That jazz club kind of thing.
It's playing live right here in my home studio. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That was nice. It gave me kind of that lounge feel, and I went out and got extra lemonade. And we'll
kind of gives us a touch of class.
Yeah, lemonade. I mean, at least we don't set ourselves up for failure as far as a touch of class is concerned. Afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the fourth in our series of Wednesdays with Wayne, and we're getting looser as time goes along here. But we're delighted to welcome everyone back today. And today we're joined by some very special guests in that regard. Of course, everyone knows Wayne, our figurehead here, who has helped facilitate this whole series, and also with Ken Green, who is our backstage producer and keeps everything going. And we have two very special guests today. Oh, thank you. They're my bad side,
Timing's everything.
Yeah. And that's the truth. And we're joined today by two additional very distinguished educators, Justin Francis from the Los Nieto School District in Whittier, California, and also Kevin Longwill, who does a fantastic job, particularly in the modern band movement from Abington. Today's, as we said, this is the fourth in our weekly series, and we're the first three. We're kind of a little bit more academic. Today we wanted to be somewhat conversational. And over the past couple of weeks, we've enjoyed the journey with Wayne, and he's talked specifically about his program that he's developed from scratch in Torrington, Connecticut, and doing some very sophisticated things. And last week we had an opportunity to briefly learn more about Ken's work in the Shelby County Schools in Memphis, Tennessee. And we'll come back and revisit with both of those later today. What we do want to do right now is share or gain the perspective of two other very distinguished music technology educators, Justin and Kevin, who today is about, for lack of a better phrase, to coin Martin Luther King, I had a dream. Each of these gentlemen, all of us in one way or another, have had that dream of, we want to build a program, we want to build a lab, and how do we get there? And for those of you who are watching us, maybe you're a veteran music tech teacher and you've got a program well on its way. Perhaps you're someone who's kind of trusted us and are moving in the direction of, all right, these guys have got our attention and I'm really thinking about it. Or in one of our previous sessions, my principal has told me I need to teach music technology, and what do I do and how do I do it? And so we're trying to help build bridges, but that's the academic side. But then there's, I'm going to call it the emotional and the spiritual side, where like someone gets an idea and they start to run with the ball, and how did they get there and what were some of the net results? So that's part of what we're going to explore today, if we can together. Justin, we're honored and privileged to start with you. You are 3 hours behind us, so it looks like it's 1:06 Pacific Standard Time today in Whittier, California, and up here the wind's blowing and all the leaves are starting to come down, and it's probably sunny and 75 out there. Is that fair on this?
Yeah, it's about right.
Okay.
Yeah, very sunny.
Yep.
Yeah, we actually just had a heat wave last week. Believe it or not. It's
amazing the differences that we all have. Anyhow, Justin, thanks for joining us. It's been our honor and privilege to work with you over the past several months, because really at the genesis of our relationship, and you were working obviously very closely with Ken through the process. Mm-hmm. You just took an idea, a concept, and really developed it into something that we think is really special. So would you please just take a few minutes? We'd love for you to share with our audience today, just how it was, where did it come from, your personal background. If I recall right, you had a background in the studio a little bit. And just if you don't mind, just take us on your journey. We'd love for everyone to hear about it. All yours.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me. And yes, thank you, Ken, Soundtree, Walt, for all your help. It's been just fantastic to get to work with you guys. Yeah, we started I came to this school district a year ago, and they didn't have a program at all. My background, yes, is in band. I'm a sax teacher as well as keyboard performance, and then also recording studio I've run for about 20 years. So I really wanted to have these kids get a great experience across the board with multiple different instruments. So when they hired us on, they hired us three different music teachers, and we're spread across four schools, three elementaries, one middle school. And they asked us to design the program from the ground up. So at first I thought it was a social experiment, putting us three, we didn't know each other at all, wildly different personalities, but it was great because we all had different specialties. And so one guy's specialty was drums as well as littles. So he was taking all the younger grades, and mine was keyboard. And I was dreaming of getting a couple of labs going, and then the other guys was doing band instruments and starting a fully graded band program. So we had to figure out how to scope and sequence all that for the grades, which grades would get what. We also have boom whackers, and we also put ukuleles in their hands. So we were making lots of orders last year. It was a lot of money. So that was part of it too, was how much can we budget to put this program together. After we had the full scope and sequence and how we would scaffold it, we presented our proposal to the district, and part of it was the GEC5, the sound tree, those sound keys, and the core GEC5 lab was huge for us because it also allowed us to get technology into the kids' hands, because I really wanted them to be able to start recording, building beats, using MIDI. I mean, all the stuff that they need to know to get out there and make music nowadays. So we built it. We had a lot of the framework ready, but then we had to get these orders in. So Ken, thank you for your help with getting all this in so quickly. We went through some bumps and bruises with getting it set up, but now it's working beautifully. We have three labs with about 20 keyboards each and headphones, and I've got three music production classes that I teach after school that are doing great. And now we're even implementing beat making into the daily schedule with our board students, and they love it. They come with their Chromebooks, and they can't wait to show me their beats, which is really fun. When we set up the after school program, making sure that we had a DAW was one of the critical things. So I asked Ken, okay, which program could work with our Chromebooks, because we just didn't have enough funds to be able to buy computers for everybody. So we found that through Music First, and Matt Ferry helped us with this. He's been great. Signing up for their program that gives you it's a web-based DAW called UStudio. And you can also make beats in that. There's tutorials that are built into Music First. And the other really neat thing is that you can give students assignments. So if you have your students already in a roster, you can enter those in automatically. It gets sent to their email, and then they have their login for their DAW, and all their assignments and projects are saved. I can look at them on my computer as well, so we can work on them together. And they have a lot of fun too, being able to play their projects through the speakers when I can select inside the GEC5 program their station, and then they each get to play what they've been working on for the whole class. And it's just, the light bulb goes on. They just have so much fun with it. It's been really awesome to see. This year, we're building up and putting a lab into the middle school, and I'm really excited about that. We just got that approved. And I think last week, like you saw with the ELOP video, we've been working closely with our after school budget, the ELOP budget, because they have money to be able to put towards the equipment. And sometimes it's a percentage, but this time it was in full, because that equipment will be used only at the middle school for after school. So yeah, we're excited that went through. Can't wait to get those going. Novation launch keys and some headphones so they can use their Chromebooks. And really cool too, if you don't know about this, there's an educational discount. You can get free licenses through Ableton Live. Um, I just applied for it about 2 months ago, and we just got approved for 60 free licenses for Ableton Live, which is a huge win. It's awesome. So we're going to use that for sure with our music production students, our after school program. At the middle school, they're going to get some laptops for them so that it works even smoother. The Chromebooks, they're a little slow, but there's a workaround we're going to try so we can start breaking into Ableton. But yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's good to be here. I hope that's helpful for some of you that are just starting out. It's a big process, but it's worth it. Worth it. It's love it. Love it. Yeah. These students worked really hard. I was really proud of them because they tackled programs also like a DJ program called UDJ that we used for actual scratching and mixing different songs together and matching BPMs. Finding ways to go back and forth. Here it is.
Sometimes I could do this. Rancho.
Rancho?
My favorite part about music production this year is the pianos, and you get to learn so much stuff about music. Becoming a DJ.
I like the piano.
Nelson Elementary. Added S. Nelson.
Nelson Elementary School.
And what was your favorite part of music production?
The part that we got to build different tracks. My favorite part about music production, I like making new beats.
Why use studios and using the pianos?
My name is Rylan Andrews. This is Aeolian Elementary School. My favorite part of music production is making the podcast and adding the sound effects to the video. A new thing that I learned was how to do the DJ thingy and also how to make a podcast. Mixing on UDJ.
And what was a new thing that you learned?
How to create my own playlist. My favorite thing about music production was making our own podcast. I learned how to mix music and also use UStudio.
Hi, there's also me. You didn't hear from me at all because I'm the editor. But yeah, you know I'm here, Sophia. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that just makes me so happy to see it again. Yeah, Sophia at the end, that's great. Bye-bye. They had some really creative projects that they did. It was awesome.
Boy, I'll tell you, the joy that they emulate is really, really apparent.
Yeah.
And you can just sense the pride and everything in their heart. You know what I
And
mean?
your first year.
Yeah,
First
this
year
was the
with
first
class
time.
and that year, right?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Justin, what was the biggest, as you reflect back, what were the biggest obstacle or the biggest obstacles that you felt that you had to overcome, like, to really get things rolling? And did you have, we were talking about this last week, we'll put you on the spot here. Did you have the greatest lesson in the world that you didn't anticipate? And then did you have what you thought was the greatest lesson in the world that turned into a real boat anchor? Any thoughts on anything like that? All of us are teachers. We've all had epic successes and fails, but anything come to mind that you could share?
Well, some of the obstacles came to mind right away because we had budget limitations. So the desks, we were struggling with figuring out what to do about getting good desks to hold the keyboards for the students in all the labs. And we ended up needing to nix the desks so that we could pay for more of the instruments, right? We had tubanos that we needed to buy. We had a bunch of clarinets. We have violins as well in the program, so we needed to get new strings. And there's just so much to try and take into consideration. So I was able to design a lab so that we used the extra desks that the school had. So these are just student desks, but then we bought a bunch of trays that sit on the top, so that they can put you saw it in the video, they could put their Chromebooks up there, and we just got those on Amazon. And that was our win, was that we were able to do the lab, within our budget to start out with. Now, would I love to get proper desks for all the students, so it's, a nice setup? Yeah, sure, of course. But they got the instrument in their hands, right? They were able to get started. The other thing that comes to mind, the anchor, so to speak, I would say, is having a good program like UStudio, like Music First, because they get in so easily. We put it inside what's our school website. So it's the app that's used inside of Los Nietos. So all the students can go to that homepage. They just click on the app and boom, they're right there. They're right there at the tools that they need. It's not difficult. A lot of times there's like web addresses you have to have them type in, but this was an app that they could just click on in their Chromebook and it was already there. It was fantastic. So that was a huge win for us. Some of the obstacles in that, though, was just, getting past the Chromebook limitations, like allowing MIDI, for their keyboards to be able to play through, allowing the audio to play through inside the program. So there's some teaching and instruction that's needed. So you have to have a plan for how you're going to do that. But we got it done. And they actually, they started to fix their own problems. And now I have student leaders that can go around to everybody's station and help them with their Chromebooks, which is
That's great.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's incredible.
That's a huge victory.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. And I just sent you a prompt. I think we'll need, because we can help address anyone who's watching this. Man, we got curricular limitations, or I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I've asked Ken to pull up a graphic, which we'll do, and then we're going to come to Kevin in just a second. But for those who are watching today, didn't have the opportunity to catch, we were proud within Soundtree. We debuted last week. Every Thursday from 4 to 5 now Eastern Standard Time, a program that we call the Doctor Is In, and that's Korg staff, Soundtree staff, as well as an audio expert, one of our audio experts. This is our new special program that we have, which is basically, if you have a Chromebook issue, if you have a noisy PA system, if you have. We have 4 very skilled people, and then me, who's kind of like lower on the rung there, but we're there to help field any questions that you might have, Korg related, but particularly not, just anything that you run into, or just as Justin referred to, where there's a Chromebook issue or whatever. We have the resources that will try and get you through it, and if we don't right away, we will we'll get you to the right people quickly. It's just a service to the profession that we really enjoy. Ken, thanks for pulling that up. Now I want to jump to, if we can, and by the way, Justin, thank you for sharing that, and particularly that beautiful there. That video was beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now we're going to shift to the other end of the spectrum, if we would, where Justin's is an elementary classroom, and they're getting into more of a music production thing. I want to jump to Kevin Longwill, who has really become a great friend and who's doing incredible work with the Abington School District. Talk about his focus. They do a lot with modern band, a lot with music production. but there's special sauce in the industry. We use the metaphor that the tree has grown into two branches here. And if you would, I would suggest that, and we're going to let Kevin tell his story, that it's really an incredible program that's blossomed from the same seeds of I want to do something really unique into a student-run record label to students who are publishing on YouTube and enjoying great success. Kevin is a regular presenter within the MEA circuit, has just joined the board of Time, and just is doing some really, really great things. And with that, Kevin, just tell us your story. I think anyone out there, particularly as we all see, and we work specifically on the modern band movement, starting to get some traction from a performance perspective as a complement to what's going on in the music production space. Just if you would share, if you don't mind sharing, I had this idea and then how you got it to grow. All right, go, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for letting me be here. Thank you for the kind words. This is awesome. All right. So our program is going on its 6th year, and it started because we renovated our high school. And as part of renovating the high school, 9th grade was moving out of the junior high, 6th grade was moving out of elementary, and we had this whole perspective of curriculum redesign, how we were structuring classes, how we were offering things, what could we strengthen, what could we change. And I had a conversation with my then supervisor and said, hey, my background is in music technology. My master's is in music tech. I did it. I've done it for years. I'd love to help out with this. I taught elementary at the time, but I just offered to help. And that began a conversation as to how we could structure everything that was running during the day. Could we revamp our music technology curriculum? And could we offer new opportunities for kids? Could we get more students to sign up for this and maybe try to get that other 80% in a target demographic? And then as those conversations started happening, we kind of had this idea of, well, what if we had something that met in combination with what's going on during the day, but something that was less restrictive, where kids could have an opportunity to write and produce and collab with their friends and make ensembles and things like that that might meet outside of the school day or in combination with the school day and outside. And that is the genesis of Abington's M3 program. M3 is Modern Music Makers, and all of the things that Walt just described encapsulates what we're attempting to do. We do have, at this point, 4 ensembles that meet, 4 modern band ensembles. We have a full production team that includes audio, video, lighting, design, animation during shows. We have a marketing and media team who, these are kids who also won't play just like the production crew, whose entire task is to create engagement opportunities, and they explore artists and repertoire, they explore fundraising, they explore venue management and event management and label management and all of the other things that might be going on in the industry that are not just performative. And so where Walt was talking about maybe the 2 trees or the 2 branches, I think I'm right in saying that we would call those performance and production. The cool thing about our program, and I would say the cool thing about a modern band approach in general, is that not only does it lend a performance element to what has traditionally been predominantly production focused in music tech, but then it also allows for that tech to matriculate into a performance environment. So the 2 kind of hold each other up. We call it our 2 pillars in performance and production. And to date, it's, we're having a lot of fun. Record label, ensembles, and again, the way that we've structured it, we co-curricular, that which would be the stuff that meets during the day, as well as what might be traditionally considered like an extracurricular, but because it has such close ties to what we're doing during the school day, we qualify it as co-curricular. My little guy is just to the right, so if you hear any funny noises, he's watching videos. Again, the 2 have worked in tandem and strengthened each other. the stuff that the kids are making during the day is that much more interesting. So, we have a multi-year plan in place for music technology. We're teaching functional DAW literacy. We're teaching recording and production and beat making and audio engineering, and then eventually working towards supporting the kind of stuff that we would do in a record label, original projects, portfolio development as the kids move beyond high school, prepping them for auditions, prepping them for shows that they're doing independently, helping them to understand kind of the entrepreneurial and business application of working in the industry. And then again, all of this further strengthens what the kids are able to do so that they could sit behind an audio console, or the room is a disaster right now, or I would move the camera around. They can start to coordinate their own recording session with a timeline and due date, with a deliverable that's required for someone else. So it's been a whirlwind adventure for sure, and constant changes, constant adaptation to, in large part, what the kids want to do, finding ways to structure projects, finding ways to structure each year to align with who the kids are in that given year, giving them an opportunity to have some agency, some autonomy over what they're doing, with the ultimate goal of developing an authentic music making experience for them.
That's cool.
Having fun, man.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I got a question for you. What advice would you give teachers that want to start a modern band program but don't have the knowledge base that you do? How could a teacher with, limited resources, but some resources, what would be your best advice on how to start a program, the best way to do it, and maybe what some pitfalls you've seen to avoid?
Cool. Yeah. All right. So first pitfall to avoid is the idea that you have to have a fully functioning backline and professional style PA and all of this gear and all these microphones and equipment and all these things to make it happen. I don't want to speak for the modern band movement, but I would say in large part that modern band can be whatever you make it to be. For example, there are tons of instances where you're playing popular music, you're playing the music that the kids want to make, something that would resonate with them, and how you go about executing it differs from school to school, differs from population, differs from locale in the country, what you have available to you, what are your kids kind of making as their musical practice outside of school. I did a project a number of years ago with my frequent collaborator Danielle Collins, who lives in LA. And we did an entire approach with cultural responsiveness and looking at, how does it make sense based on what the kids are doing. So for modern band in one part of the country could be, what we do, popular music, commercial music, predominantly stuff that would align with, top 40 Billboard kind of stuff. In other parts, it could be mariachi, it could be steel pan, it could be a combination of all of these things. A friend of mine, Tyler Swick, who's in Vegas, started a new gig this year, sent me a video a couple weeks ago of his kids playing, I think it was Radiohead, but he had like steel pan for everything. So there is no immediate recipe for success. With regard to the knowledge base, I think the biggest shift that happens is an understanding that potentially moving away from traditional 5-line 4-space notation in favor of learning by rote, learning by ear, combination of learning by rote and by ear, using non-standard or non-traditional notation, approaching even an avenue of like the first 10 years of my career, I taught band and strings. And for every rehearsal, I stood in front of a group of kids and I had all of the information. It was my task to move things along. And oddly enough, like that has changed so drastically in the time since, where now I feel more as a facilitator of the kids learning, where it differs per group, where it differs per ensemble, where it differs per song, because you never know what personnel you're going to have. You never know how a song's going to mature, how the kids are going to orchestrate it. And I might suggest that, again, there is no immediate recipe for success, but by also working in that line of thought, you can take any song that you listen to and reorchestrate it in such a way for whatever your group is. Letting the kids do it, finding, other opportunities. The Music Will stuff is fantastic. Formerly Little Kids Rock, Ultimate Guitar, Chordify. Anymore, our kids will mostly just listen to songs and start to figure out the chord progressions, which I was always jealous of, like jazz majors, because their ear was so much more developed than mine. And now I'm jealous of like 14-year-old kids because their ear is more developed than mine. Where like these kids can sit down with keys, guitar, whatever, and put up a song, and they'll just replicate it within 1 or 2 listens. And it's incredible. And it's an entirely new skill set that develops, whether intentionally or unintentionally, because we're letting the kids kind of run with it. So I know I kind of waxed and waned poetic over all of that, but yeah, I think I answered your question.
No, you did. And I think the best thing that you said is it can be anything you want it to be in your school. When I talk to districts, in my own district, we're trying to put it in ourselves, and there seems to be this, like, you have to do it this way. It's like, well, no, it's like anything with technology. We could have, different schools from all over the country, and we all do it differently. So I think if people go into the modern band movements, it doesn't have to be what this school does, because like you said, my demographic's different, our diverse population, what do we have for resources, what's the school culture, what's the nature of the kids. So I think that's the best advice that you said, is make it, what you need it to be for your school, but find out what the kids want. I mean, I think that's the best advice, and then take it from there.
Yeah, if we spend enough time together, I will find a way to work the word authentic or authenticity into the conversation if we're talking about education.
We'll
the
give you
biggest thing
bonus
is that,
points.
like,
and get a sound effect for that.
Oh, hey, buddy.
That's authentic right there.
Look at that, we got a co-host. All right.
And
This
speaking
is
of
Archie.
authentic,
Can you say hi?
Arch, what's happening?
Can you say hi?
Hey, buddy.
All right. Can you draw me another picture?
You're famous.
All right, and give me just a minute, all right?
Is Music in Schools Month. One Montgomery County teacher is leading his own School of Rock.
The award-winning program is helping aspiring musicians, and Action News reporter Catherine Scott has a story from Abington.
This program started in the pandemic on Zoom. Since then, it has exploded. M3 is Abington Senior High School's musical industry program, short for Modern Music Makers.
The idea is to give them the opportunity and agency to make the kind of music that they want to do.
Kevin Longwill initially started the program during virtual learning, teaching kids basic production and how to start to record. But the initial model changed as students like current senior Taylor Shore returned to the classroom. Students forming their own record label, creating and recording music that's uploaded for streaming under the name M3.
We were just like making beats and stuff. We told Mr. Longwill, we were like, we'd like some opportunity to perform. And that's when I really got into it.
I like that it gave you an opportunity to play your own kind of music.
Collaborations and performances added another layer to the typical music technology programs that have been growing in schools for years.
We have kids running lights and sound and media and video, and then we have other kids who, outside of the performance perspective, are recording and producing and editing.
M3 received national recognition, named an Advocacy and Action Award winner by Music for All for the program's student recruitment, engagement, and retention. Hundreds of students take part. Educators here tell me this program has also helped boost enrollment in more traditional music courses like choir or piano, because these students want to refine their technical skills.
We give the kids a lot of authority as to what they do, and we kind of sit in the passenger seat and help to steer them along the way. For a lot of these kids, it ends up growing different things that they might be interested in and use outside of school, whether they study music or not.
In Abington, Catherine Scott, Channel 6 Action News.
That's a serious wow.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing,
Yes.
dude.
Wow, man.
Good work.
So with the few minutes that we have, let's just take a moment and refrain. And for those who, again, we're delighted for those who are able to join us live, and we'll pick this up on YouTube afterwards. And Ken, before I forget, let's do our commercial at the end. Can you have the graphic ready for our special guest coming up on the 18th of this month?
All set.
Along the way. Justin, Kevin, Justin first. The three things that you're most proud of that your kids have been able to accomplish from the beginning, reflecting from the heart as a teacher. Thank you for sharing how you got started to where you are now, but holistically, what resonates most with you? And then Kevin, that same question's coming to you. So be ready if you would. Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, well, I think the students being able to contribute to their own school environment. So like we started podcasts. So they'd play those podcasts over the loudspeakers of the school. So then all of the school would hear their voices, their music that they put underneath it. That was a huge highlight. I think another thing is also giving students that aren't like musically able to play. I have some of our ESN students that need extra help. They can make music so quickly with music production. They can record, they can use their creativity in a different way. Those two things come to mind right away. I think the third thing is also just seeing students just really embrace having a culture of creativity in their school that never was here before, and it makes them treat the music classroom a different way. We've seen improvement in their behavior as well across the board, and students that just really look forward to it every day they come. So those three things are a huge win for us.
Well, I appreciate that. Kevin, coming back to you, the holistic teacher, the driving force, I'm going to call it the proud parent, the proud teacher in you. Reflecting back, there's all the different strands to your program. What if you were to pick three things that when you put your head down on the pillow at night, you go, yeah, this is good? What would they be?
Yeah. So I started jotting down notes as Justin was talking, so I had something specific. It's and I went a slightly different direction. So the entire idea of our bands, our ensembles, that was led by the kids. Like you kind of saw it in the video. The kids wanted to do it, and that was not the original intent of the program, but we let them roll with it. So they started to take ownership early. So I guess if I make it a bigger concept, it was the fact that they started to leverage their own perspective. They started to take ownership. They started to look for an opportunity to run with what they wanted to do, which conveniently goes to the second point that I was going to bring up, which is when you give them that opportunity, they start collaborating with their peers, they start making things. And that's what ended up launching the record label. But from a conceptual standpoint, it was the fact that the kids are starting to create, not because of a project that we give them, which is very standard, but because they want to. And what really becomes cool is when you start to structure the projects so that it tries to spark that creativity, and then the kids blow you away that much more. And then I would say the final thing comes with how we've had to grow the program because more kids come in, using those same ownership, using that same creative pursuits, and the new things that we're constantly trying to structure or trying to grow. And that it's just as more kids come in, new perspectives come into the fold, and you're constantly trying to open the umbrella a little bit wider, and trying to find ways. Like the current challenge is trying to get all of these kids involved with what they're doing and create opportunities and avenues that align with those sorts of things. And that's releasing an EP, which is something we're working on this year, and bringing coaches in to help with that, and having the kids in the driver's seat for that process, or having the kids prep and plan and organize and orchestrate and run an event, which we do every year, and bring other students in and other schools and professionals. And like a shameless plug, if you let me. But it's I guess I try to target three: ownership, agency, and evolution. I guess would be the big one. Like the kids want to do it, they start doing it, and it evolves over time as a result of
the things that they're leveraging.
Yeah. There's a common theme to all this, and thank you for all of that, Kevin. But as I look at my revered colleagues here on the screen with Wayne, and for those of you who may be joining us for the first time, may I encourage you to go back and look at our previous podcast or broadcasts, where Wayne has taken us deeper into the Torrington program, and we've not really spent a whole lot of time with Ken, and we're going to, with the amazing work he did within Memphis County Schools. There is a couple of common denominators, but two things that scream off the page to me. Number one, the theme of how we're reaching that traditional 80%, or that 80% of kids that didn't sign up for band, orchestra, and chorus. I'm a band, orchestra, chorus guy. Kevin, I know you were as well. Ken, I know you were as well. Wayne as well. I mean, that was all of us, all of our DNA that then morphed into this other thing. So we know that we're reaching new student populations, and from an advocacy perspective, what greater thing can we be doing to strengthen the role of fine arts in general, music specifically, within our community? And the second part, and you both, Justin and Kevin, nailed it. And I think it was years ago at some conference somewhere, and maybe everyone's already heard this phrase, but the role of the teacher moves from the sage on the stage to the guide on the side. And Kevin, as we watch the evolution of your program specifically, I mean, you nailed it without prompting. Kids, here's the ball, start running down the field, and then you get to stand back and watch great things happen. That's the best form of learning. Would we all agree? You know what I mean? And Wayne, you've done that. We know you've done it repeatedly with your program. I think of the impact that you've shared over time with, in Torrington, at a challenged district, but particularly the cross-curricular success that you've enjoyed within your program. So again, I encourage everyone that if you've not seen Wayne's previous broadcast, please do so. And Ken's work, the creation of a television channel and poetry slams and stuff, during COVID, post-COVID, and in a very challenging situation. I think the summary comment to all of this is, that it's a wide open territory. Number one, more than number two, can we all agree? It's a, what am I trying to say? It was probably the freest thing that we could create in terms of structure. It's easy to align the stuff to national standards, but there's no curriculum. I would suggest that probably the further we can keep it from a bound curriculum, the better we would be all the way around. I don't know if anybody else has any other color commentary for that.
Yeah, I've been thinking that for a while during this this stream, is that we have that, I guess, a luxury, really. Yeah, teach it. I don't know how many times I'd hear our administrators tell us, that mastering the standard was the goal. Speaking primarily to the the core content teachers, the math, science, ELA, and we do that. Yeah, I know Wayne and I have had those conversations in the past, and Kevin too. But we do that all the time. But we have that luxury of being able to come up with these wildly creative projects and lessons, and hand it over to the students and let them guide the learning and take it in the direction that's best for them. So yeah, pretty good to be in that position.
Wayne, thoughts?
Yep. Well, I think there's the common denominators with all these different programs is that the teachers in these programs are willing to try new things and push the boundaries of what traditional, a music class can be. Let's face it, these kids are different than 5 years ago, and we have to almost like revamp the traditional concept of what music is in schools. We can't go back to what we did before COVID because these kids have changed. And music tech is, and I'm biased, of course, music tech is the greatest tool and vehicle for this because it can be anything you want it or need it to be for your situation. If you pulled, we could bring all these people in and we all have different spins on it. But the same thing is all our kids are successful because we are giving them the keys. Go, do it. And like Kevin said, I'm a facilitator. And that's the best thing. We're facilitators. We don't stand up and go, please go to chapter 5 and we're going to read questions 1 through. No, the kids, it's project based. And the kids come in, they do what they got to do, and we just facilitate, what they want to do. So that's, along with Kevin, again, with the modern band, what it needs to be for your school, it needs to be for your school. And I think that takes the fear out of teachers trying new things. Also hope administrations understand that too, that, we have the liberty to do a lot of various things along with doing creating, performing, responding. We have all that if they need it, of course, but we have the luxury to try different things, and technology is the greatest tool to get kids involved in that.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Guys, well, we are running out of time. I want to thank Kevin for jumping in, and we apologize for Justin because he had to go teach a class. They came in, so that's why he exited the studio. And of course, to have Ken and Wayne every week, it's a real blessing. From a technical perspective, we joke that we're building the airplane going down the runway, but we think that these conversations are really important. Kevin, thank you for jumping in on a short notice, and tell Archie we said thank you for him sharing his dad.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Is Archie still hanging out?
He's still hanging out. He's watching some kind of video on YouTube right now, but it's educational, so I'm not a bad parent.
Well, put this on his iPad tonight, and it'll put him right to sleep. Right? You know what I mean? All right.
Puts us to sleep.
Looking ahead to next week, two events. First of all, next week on the 12th, we'll be focused on sound reinforcement. We'll be bringing in our core expert, Chris Sanders, to help talk about perspectives in sound reinforcement and common mistakes, common failures, common setups that lead to success. Just kind of visiting that topic. That seems to be, raise your hand if you got a course in sound reinforcement as part of your BS in music education degree. All right, be quiet.
I did. Sorry.
Why don't we invite him again, please?
Yeah, there it is. But what we do want to draw attention to, Chris will be here. Do this, Ken, pull up the other one that we're excited to draw everyone's attention to right down there. Very special event on Tuesday, November 18th from 7 to 8 Eastern Time. Is going to be a Q&A town hall with Chris Pooley, Korg artist, incredible keyboard player who, among all the artists that he has worked with worldwide, is the musical director for American Idol. And I believe they've just finished doing their most recent season, and it'll start to be broadcast probably after the first of the year. But Chris is a great guy, and if you ever wanted some insight and information, we're looking forward to a good hour of, tell us your stories and how do you do it and what do you do and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Again, Kevin, Wayne, thanks for joining us. And for everybody out there, stay safe. You've gotten through your fall concerts. Now, assuming that's the case, everybody's eyes are on their holiday programs. We want everyone to stay sane. Mm-hmm. We think about your families. It's soon going to be the middle of November, and we know what's coming around the corner. And don't forget to come visit us with The Doctor Is In, Thursdays from 4 to 5 p.m. Any and all information you need is found on the website. Again, Kevin, Wayne, boy, we're grateful for your expertise and your leadership. Thanks for joining us today, Ken, you as well. And everyone had a great evening. Okay, take care. We'll see you later. All righty.
Thank you for watching Sound Tree TV.